Hi, I'm Tom. Welcome to my channel that is mostly about wooden ship models. Someone I know recently began his first wooden ship model, and I was asked to recommend some tools he should acquire. I told him that one never has all the tools needed for a project, but I would make a few recommendations, and why not generate some content for my channel while I'm at it. I therefore present my 10 tools I cannot model without. There's nothing magical about 10, but it was my first milestone when I started to learn to count, and it's as good a place as any to stop. The order is not significant of their value to me. I consider all of these tools to be my core tool set. Instead, I thought about the order in which I need particular tools in the phases of construction: frames, planking, decking, fittings, masts, yards, rigging, sails, and then I tried to narrow it down to 10. It's not a perfect list, and I'm sure I've left out something important, but it is a place to start. And where to start? 20 years ago, a jeweler's saw would have been the first tool I reached for when cutting out the keel and frames for a wooden ship model. But mercifully, laser-cut frames and keels are the de facto standard in kits now. So my first tool is the humble X-Acto knife. Most everybody starts out with the little silver X-Acto knife that's pictured here. Other knives have fancier handles, but they all use the same blade, so they're pretty much the same. With one exception, find an X-Acto knife that has some kind of device to keep it from rolling off of your table. The black one here has a little bump so that when you put it down, the most it's going to roll is about an inch or two. Others will roll right off of your desk and fall right on the floor, usually breaking off the tip of the blade. For this reason, you'll find it handy to have a pack of 10 or 15 blades on hand. Some modelers, myself included, also use medical scalpels occasionally. Just make sure you have a pack of Band-Aids on hand. After you get the keel and frames put together on your model, you're going to want to put on the planking. You're going to need some clamps. More clamps. More clamps. More clamps. Many more clamps. How many clamps do you need? How many do you have? You need 3 more. Now, you needn't clean out the supply on Amazon. You may have some things around the house that you can already use for clamps. Binder clamps, rubber bands, clothespins. The next tool I can't model without is a caliper. Calipers help with spacing, measuring, and this little doohickey on the end helps you measure how deep a hole is. They're available in analog and digital versions. I tend to not use the digital version because the batteries die and I can't find those little round buggers. So this is just going right back in the drawer. When cutting planks or decking material for your ship model, it's generally a bad idea to try to use a full-size table saw. This little miter saw does a great job in making perfect 90-degree angles and 45-degree angles, which are handy for deck furniture. It's made of extruded aluminum, has several different size slots on the bottom to hold different size strips. The little lip will catch the edge of your desk, so when you push the saw forward, it doesn't slide all over the place. It's very handy for getting those 90-degree cuts on deck material and on the planking material for your hull. My next tool is a hemostat. I love me some hemostats. You can get them in a variety of shapes and sizes, so just pick your favorite to start with. I would suggest a small square pair, not the super smallest size, but maybe like a 4-inch or 6-inch size. Don't go cheap. Don't buy the big bag of 40 hemostats on Amazon for $3 that come from China. They're not worth it. Find good ones. Ideally, buy them in your local hobby store where you can see them up close and personal. Cheaply made hemostats are very difficult to open with one hand, and there are going to be times where you have the other hand busy and you're going to need to do that with one hand, so get the best that you can find. I realize they're probably not called hemostats, but there's a type of hemostat-like device that's used for holding needles during suturing. I find that the sturdy jaws on that are really a good thing to have sometimes. You don't need to have a huge set of these. Just get one for starters. Curved or straight, doesn't really matter. I have a confession to make. I do occasionally build plastic models. And I have found a sprue cutter to be almost essential when it comes to planking and building a ship model. They're just a nifty little tool for nipping off little pieces of stuff. If you need to rough cut a plank and don't want to use the little miter box, this is a great way to just cut it to length very quickly. Something sticking out, clip clip, and it's gone. Tamiya makes a nice pair of sprue cutters. I particularly like them because the jaws are very tiny but very sturdy and very sharp. They make nice clean cuts. Okay, I realize somebody's going to call me out on this in the comments, but I suggest getting some needle files. Yes, that's more than just one item, and I probably should count that as several, but you can buy them in a set, they're not that expensive, and it's nice to have a variety of shapes. When it comes to making your gun ports squared away, or getting down in some deck furniture, making your combings and hatch gratings look good, needle files are essential. There's going to be some times you need to drill some ridiculously small holes in your model, such as when you're trying to put an eye into a mast or into the deck or something like that. As you transition from building the hull to working on the deck, you're going to find a variety of times you need some very, very small holes made. In order to do this, you need some very small drill bits, and the only way to hold those is in a pin vise. This little device lets you spin the bit and make those holes wherever you need them. I would suggest getting a kit where it keeps the drill bits organized for you. If you just have them in a little vial or something, it's very difficult to pick out the size you want. You don't necessarily need to have a set of 100 that are organized by angstroms, but it's nice to have them organized so that you can at least see how thick they are and how tall they are, and you can make your best guess at what you need. The next tool on my list are tweezers. Tweezers are essential. They're very good for picking up things, very good for holding things, and when it comes to rigging, they are your best friend. I've found from experience that it's best not to skimp when it comes to buying tweezers. There's nothing worse than a set of tweezers where the points don't come together, it won't grip anything. So buy some quality, either a curve point or a straight point. You also might find it really handy to have the kind of tweezers that open up when you squeeze on them instead of closing when you squeeze on them. I find these so-called reverse tweezers to be very handy in rigging. I can use it to grab a line and let the tweezer hang and provide a little bit of gravity tension while I work around some other parts of the rigging. You'll find that these tweezers are very handy for reaching into tight spaces, and the more that you build on your model, the more tight spaces you're going to have. As your ship model nears completion, and you're working on the rigging, the sails, the flags, and all those frilly bits that make them look so good, you're going to find scissors to be very important. You will want a pair of scissors that are small enough to snip rigging lines in the tightest of spaces. Don't buy cheap scissors. They don't hold their edge, they don't hold their alignment, and it'll just drive you crazy while you're trying to snip rigging. Scissors don't necessarily need to be super miniature. If you can't find a small pair of embroidery scissors that you like, I found a pair of these smaller Fiskars work really, really well. But my absolute favorite pair of scissors comes from Tamiya. These guys hold their edge really well, and they fit in the tightest of spaces. They have this nice little spring mechanism that automatically opens them up so you can do things easily with one hand. They're just wonderful. Well, that's my 10 things that I can't model without. There are some other nice things to have around in your shop. And as you keep on modeling, you're going to find that your collection of doodads, tools, and gizmos is going to grow faster than your ability to store it and organize it. Anyway, that's my collection of 10 tools that I can't model without. If you found this the least bit interesting, please leave a like. It helps to grow this meager little channel. Anyway, I hope you have a great day and happy modeling.